Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion. That's because you couldn't play anything else.
Shut up. Come here, dude.
Hey, man. Did you touch my drum set? I am warning you right now, if you touch my drum, I will stab you in the neck with a knife. Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads podcast. My name is Daniel, and this is episode 96 with Wes from Kbrakes, part 2. So yes, this is a return guest. It was great to have Wes back on. I had Wes back on July 12th of 2015. So when I record this, of course, it's September 19th of 2017. So there's been 2 years since he's been on. So it was great to have him back on and talk about all the great things that they're doing over at Kbrakes. You know, I have used Kbrakes for 2 years now, and I love them. You know, they keep your bass drum from sliding, and it's, you know, spikes that stick on to your bass drum, rods, and keeps your bass drum from sliding. But there's only one problem. You could only use it on carpet. Well, guess what? That problem has been solved. They've added a new attachment you can put on that is a grip, so it actually will grip to any kind of hard surface, hardwood floors, ceramic, tile, whatever you got, linoleum, and it will keep it from sliding. So you have both options of carpet, hard surfaces, but also they have a new attachment you can put on your hi-hat to keep it from moving away from you. You know, you can also use it on cymbal stands and stuff like that, you know. So what I love about Kbrakes is that it solved a problem that a lot of drummers were not familiar with, or, you know, were at least kind of like, well, what do you do? So yeah, it was great to have him back on and talk about these new products, catch up, and just, you know, we had a couple good laughs. He told us a really funny story about one of his worst gigs, which is a question I'm going to start asking the guests, because everyone has that gig. It's just like, oh man, that was bad. So it was, like, again, just it was nice to catch up, and it'll be great when I can get out to Winter NAMM and actually meet all these people. Super fun. Can't wait. So again, you can go follow Kbrakes on Instagram. You can go follow them on Facebook and all that. And you can also go to kbrakes.com to get yours. You can also get them at some of the big box retail stores, but I suggest you go and see if they got them on your local music store's website, or if they have them in stores. You know, there's multiple ways to get them. Like I said, I highly recommend them. Can't play without them. So again, thank you to Wes for being on, and we're gonna be doing a little giveaway. So you guys be on the lookout for that. But till then, here it is, episode 96 with Wes from Kbrakes. Word.
Hey guys, there are multiple ways you can help out the podcast. The first is you can go to iTunes and leave us a nice review. So 5 stars for the podcast. Also, going and subscribing to the podcast. So if you have an iPhone or your Android device, especially if you have an iPhone, go to the podcast app, look us up, and hit subscribe. It's so easy. A 5-year-old could do it, because I know my 5-year-old could do it. Also, you can become a Patreon member, so you can help the show, so we can help with updates and all that kind of great stuff. Or if you just want to donate to the podcast, you can go to our PayPal account. Also, be sure to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, go to Tumblr. I'm pretty sure you're on Instagram, but if you're not, go and do that as well. Everything is so much helpful. I don't know why I said it that way, but it sounded good. So yes, I will love you forever if you go do all of these things. Or just one. But preferably all. Maybe 2. It's up to you. Thanks. Hey guys, I want to thank Regal Tip for their support of the podcast. What a wonderful drumstick company they are. Very friendly to the drummers on the internet these days, and I love it. So if you want to find yourself a great pair of drumsticks, go to regaltip.com and you can find what you need. And if you need help, they will most happily reach out to you and find you what you need. So if you're looking for a certain length, certain diameter, certain tip, whatever, they will help you out and find you exactly what you need. And just want to thank them again for their support of the podcast and supporting independent, media like this. It's always wonderful. So again, thank you to Regal Tip, and go check them out. Do it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads podcast, and I am joined by Wes of Kbrakes. How are you, Wes?
I'm good, man. How are you? Good to see you again.
You too, man. I actually had written down the date before we recorded, July 12th, 2015. That was your first time on the podcast, so 2 times now.
Yeah, man. I'm a 2-timer,
Yeah,
officially.
you're a 2-timer. You and there's 2 other people. So, we got to get a 3rd time in there sometime, so you can be the first 3rd-timer.
Yeah, man. Let's get through 2 and hope for the best. How about that?
That's right. Well, so how have things changed since July 12th of 2015 to now, which is September 19th of 2017?
They've changed quite a bit. I don't even know what we talked about last. I mean, the Kbrakes thing is just kind of done this, people seem to email me and call me left and right and like, oh, what's this company? What are you doing? And it's hard to keep track of sometimes. But on the biggest front, recently we've just launched 2 new products, which originally we had, just the original Kbrakes, which is the 256 stopping points and lock your drums down on carpet. After a few, we went to NAMM a couple times. We had a booth at Summer NAMM in Nashville, which was awesome. Super great town. Love going there. Super fun. And it's so much more relaxed and it seems more relaxed and more chill than the one in California, because I think there's a lot less to see. It's just a lot more one-on-one time, which is awesome.
Yeah. There's not a bunch of people.
But I think that
going nuts.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, they do try to keep the volume down at the show, and people are playing, which is funny because my whole shtick on Kbrakes is trying to play the drums hard so they don't move.
Yeah, to show them. It's like I'm serious. It doesn't move. And they're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's out there just crushing it, so it's pretty funny. But one of the biggest things that we've come up with in the last the biggest feedback we've gotten from people in the last couple of years is that people that we show Kbrakes to at the shows, wherever, they're like, this is great, this is awesome, great idea, blah, blah, all these great things, which is always awesome to hear. But the number one thing we've gotten from people is, this is cool, but does it without a carpet? So people asking us, does it work without a carpet? And we're like, I'm like, no, like this version is only designed for carpet, so it doesn't work on hard surface. And if you play on a hard surface, it's nylon, it's plastic, so when you kick at it, it'll fly away on you. So, so we've just developed a new product that we've come up with called Kbrakes Grips. And oddly enough, I should have one in here. I oddly enough don't have one, but we're going to just do a quick walk.
We're going to do a quick walk and talk. It's no big deal.
Yeah, we're going to walk and talk. We're actually I'll give you we're in the Kbrakes drum room right now. One of the kits that we play is a custom, I say it's me, custom CNC kit. My wife does not play the drums, even though I tried to make her. She doesn't play them.
Yeah, I hear it. I've tried the same.
She is the other half of Kbrakes. So, so we do have some of the stuff on the kit currently down there. But I'll give you an actual rundown now. Oh man, we're gonna go in this room. It has a bunch of our stock stuff. Let me see if I can grab some out of here. Should have had this better prepared.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We can
part of the game.
It's part of the game. But it's funny,
this is real life, man.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Real life, right?
People always assume like, oh, you have Kbrakes, you must be making hundreds of millions of dollars by now. You don't have a job. It's like, oh, you have a podcast. You must not do anything all day. It's like, nope, you're wrong. I have a job. As much as I'd love to do this full time, doesn't pay the bills. Yep.
Yeah. We all have jobs, man, and everyone, we always have a side hustle, and it's just always one of those things that we do. It's it's passion, and we're solving problems. But I'll give you the Kbrakes grip. So this is nice, and it's a little bit backwards because we're in a webcam, but that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So basically, it's designed to slide over your original Kbrakes to lock your drums down, your kick drums down in hard surface.
Okay.
So you can play on linoleum, tile, marble, ceramic, hardwood floors. It's pretty cool. They get basically just slide on pretty easy, and once you take them off, they actually come with reusable covers. So that's cool. You can throw those on there, or you can also if they get dirty, kind of like a moon gel, you just wash it, let it air dry, and then it comes back to sticky again. It's a completely different material than moon gel, but the principle is kind of the same, and it actually washes really, really well, which is really cool.
That's good. How did you find that was the right thing? When people were saying, "Oh, it doesn't work on hardwood," what was like your thought? Like, I need to find something that's kind of jelly or something kind of squishy. What was the just trial and error?
It's a long process, man. I mean, it's really about trying to figure out materials, and my background's industrial design, so I do have a little bit of material science background. So I was able to start making calls and sourcing materials, and I pull materials from probably like 7 or 8 different countries, trying out different things, and it was just more of I found this, and now I'm going to use this, and now I'm going to add this, and actually the material that's on there is something that was actually developed by myself and one person in Seattle and a couple people overseas, and it's actually a polymer that doesn't exist in the world other than on my product.
Nice. So, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And so it's like some futuristic shit, It's like,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually got a DeLorean, and I ran out of plutonium. I went back to 1985. I met a guy. Yeah, I don't know. It's a long story,
I tracked Doc Brown. We got it figured out,
Yeah, he's a big help. But he's a little older and slower now than he used to be. But he's still doing all right.
That's awesome. I like I like that you threw that Back to the Future reference in. Like,
Well, I'll tell you, man. Like I said, this is real life. I'm gonna step away and grab this grip. Actually, real life, rather than me just playing with it, messing with it. So basically, it's this little guy right here, and it has this channel right here, and the Kbrakes just slide in.
Oh, nice.
Just like that.
Cool.
So super seamless, easy to use, right? And we do these on our site. They're $20 for a set of 2. So, I mean, it's really a no-brainer. If you don't want to carry a carpet, don't want to carry a rug around. Some people don't want to do that. Don't want to carry the carpet or the rug. So that's really for kick drums. But the other product I was telling you about, we haven't really gotten into, is that something called Kbrakes high stops. So actually, it was named by my kid, which is pretty cool. I was showing him some designs, and he was like, "It kind of looks like a high stop sneaker, or like a high top." And I'm like a high stop. And he's like, "Yeah, high stop." And it just stuck. So we ended up coming up with these guys, which is Kbrakes high. I'm trying to get so you don't get your own reflection. How do you look in there?
Oh, terrible.
It's Kbrakes high stop, so it's basically got the same base as the Kbrakes with the 256 stopping points, and then it's actually designed for, look on the back here, it's designed for like your hi-hat stands and cymbal stands, stuff like that. A lot of people that are like clutching and doing a lot of heel toe stuff, a big complaint was that their hi-hat kind of walks away on them. Me in particular, I play actually this guy right here. I play this China cymbal over on my right side, and I play it pretty low and flat. So when I start hitting that thing, it walks away pretty hard on me. So I take just one of the high stops, and I stick it on there, 1 or 2, right in the bottom of the stand, and it clamps on. And then it allows you to dig in the carpet. So when you're playing carpet, that stuff still doesn't move. And then you still have the grips also fit those as well.
Oh, nice.
So if it's your hi-hat stand, cymbal stand, snare stands, someone bought some the other day and they were using them on their throne. So I guess their kind of moves on them. So it's pretty cool. The idea that you can lock down your whole kit, just 1 or 2 pieces per stand. To worry about whether you're on carpet or you show up at the gig and there's no carpet. A lot of times that happens to people. And you got these guys in your case, you just throw them on, you're good to go. Like, it's super easy. So
Yeah. Well, and the hi-hat makes sense, because you've got a lot, I noticed the hi-hat you put on the back of the packaging, it doesn't have a brand, but let's just say it ends with a AMA, and it's only got 2 legs. So you've lost that third leg, which is you lose a little bit of your stability, I guess you could say. So,
right.
With these advances, especially with the double vase, if you're trying to put a pedal in there, taking that third leg out makes it more accessible, but at the same time, you're losing some of the, stability of your hi-hat. So having that grip down as well is, it's a great idea.
Yeah, it seems to work. I mean, the people actually, it seems to work. It works really well. It seems to be the case rather that people seem to keep a lot of time really hard on their hi-hats. Like, they just push on it. And if you think about it, if you push on this thing, 5,000 times a night when you're playing a long show, so some of the stuff walks on you. Some people have stuff that never moves. They're like, nope, my stuff never moves, not an issue, right? And that's totally fine until it does, right? And then you run into it, and you're like, well, I mean, I've done it for years, man, and my stuff was all locked down, and I realized not until I started developing this product that my China, I play that thing, and that thing walks, and I reach over and I grab it, and I'm pulling it back. You're like in between songs, you're playing, all of a sudden you reach back and grab it, back and grab it. So
it's frustrating.
Yeah, and for me, like, I got this one's just on this old Sonar stand that I have. I just started playing a China again because this other band that I'm playing in, it kind of fits. So I threw a China up to play it. And so I got this old Sonar stand I'm playing. It's got the round feet.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool because the grips work well when I'm sliding them on the high stops. With the high stops, the foot sits right inside of it. So on like I said, your cymbal stand, snare stand, stuff like that, but also works really good with like Sonar stuff. And also there's a lot of kick drums out there that Kbrakes doesn't fix. You have this original opening here, right? Which is really for the 10 millimeter spurs, which is fairly common, but there's a lot of companies that are using those spring loaded spikes that I know, like SJC has some, Yamaha has some, Mapex, and even some Tama lines. So you just leave the foot right on there because the foot isn't designed to come off. It's all spring loaded interior pieces.
Yeah.
So you just jam the whole foot in there and tighten it down, and you have a full bass, which is cool because it gives you this nice bass to play on. And then you can put the grips on there and just jam right on your hard surface or carpet. You're good to go.
Yeah. And so, in the 2 years, have you seen like a more of a, drummers coming to you, because of social media and everything else, saying, are people still finding out about this? Or are they still like, kind of surprised, like, oh, this exists? Like, yeah, it's been around for, almost 3 years, where have you been? Yeah. Or has it been kind of a mixed bag?
No, I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, there's 2 different camps. One is where there's a lot of people that will never tell you they've never seen something before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You ever be like, yeah, you ever hear the band Molar Infection? Oh yeah, they're great, right? Jimmy Kimmel does a bit on that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The man on the street
doesn't
thing.
really exist. So there's one camp, right, which is fine, and the other camp where which is really more the majority, where we're a small company, man. We've touched probably 0.0001% of drummers in the world with our product. So every time we do, a show, my buddy Craig actually does product development for himself, and he develops all these crazy products, and he taught me something really funny, which is, I'm like, man, Kbrakes is kind of like old news. He's like, it's old news to you, but the world hasn't seen it yet. It's still new. I mean, it's only been around for a few years, but a few years and 20,000 followers on social media doesn't really dictate a product being old or new. It just tells you that you still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Well, and that makes sense. It's hard to gauge, especially in this day and age, how many people actually see it,
right.
You can base it on how many followers you have or whatever, but a lot of times it just comes down to drummers talking to other drummers and saying, hey, do this, or they see a video. It's like, oh, I never saw that. What is that? And you get those questions. I get it. I was replacing the bass drum on my kit recently. I have the Kbrakes on, and people are like, oh, what are those? And it's like, I put it up like every day that Kbrakes is something I use, but it's just, I guess people just, sometimes it just takes them a while to like, click, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, we do get people all the time. It's like, when we do a show and I'm like, hey, here's, I'm showing them the new thing. And I said, have you ever seen Kbrakes before? And they're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to show them an attachment doesn't make a lot of sense until I show them what the original is, So
yeah.
It's pretty interesting, but yeah, I mean, we're small and we're growing and we're trying every day to at least gain, more attention and show people what we're doing. And, we think that the difference between, what I'm doing at Kbrakes and maybe what some other people are doing is Kbrakes, at least for me, in my opinion, solves a problem, and there's a demand for it. It's not something that's flashy or cool to have, it's legitimately like, and now, with something like Kbrakes grips, we're solving a new problem. And with Kbrakes high stops, we're solving another problem. So, we're really about, my background is industrial design. We're really about solving problems in a kind of cool and creative way. And in this way, we're just trying to get it out to as many people as we can, because we know we still see it. I still go to local shows and I see, dudes with big cinder blocks in front of their drums,
Yeah, or like a 10-pound or 20-pound dumbbell like in front of it, and all kinds of weird stuff, and it's it's not a sexy thing, like solving a problem is not like a sexy, glamorous kind of thing, where you got some people, it's like, oh, that's cool, it's got a certain aesthetic to it. This is, like you said, problem solving. So, once people find that problem, they'll find the solution. So,
yeah, I mean, it's really primitive, and it's very utilitarian. It's very functional. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think they look beautiful because they do a thing, and they don't look like a big mouse trap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, I look at this thing and it's a lot of work and effort, but for it to do something that is, for example, just something so silly, but it, the fact that it folds flat. So when you pack it in your drum case, like it just sits on your drum and it's low profile. You don't have to worry about it. It's like a set it and forget it. And that's based on, we do, I do a lot of research and get a lot of feedback and polled a lot of drummers and, asked, 1,000 questions that were, all seem dumb, but they all kind of come up with this general consensus that, hey, it should do this, it should do this, it should probably do this, So, like I said, we're just trying to solve a problem in a nice, sleek looking way. It's pure function and utilitarian, and it works.
It works. So. Yeah. Have you seen, it working its way into more music stores, either if it's independent or if it's the big box stores, have you seen it move in that, direction yet? We have. So since we spoke with you last, I don't know if we were doing distribution at the time. I don't think so.
But now we're doing all of our stuff distributed through Big Bang Distribution. They do Big Fat Snare Drum, and they do all the head drumstick stuff and tons of stuff. And so we do a lot of stuff through them. And, we're able to now have, like, if you go to guitarcenter.com, you'll find our stuff on there. Guitar Center, Sam Ash, Sweetwater, Musician's Friend, excuse me, probably Z Sounds, Musician 123, like all of those sites, as well as, a lot of the small mom and pop shops, so
which is cool.
You can find them. Yeah.
Well, and I've seen like doing the podcast, I've seen like a renaissance of like the local drum shop. It's back. For a while it kind of was like, oh, this is going away. This is not cool. And then I don't know if it was a backlash to just big corporations or whatever you want to call it, but the rise of the local drum shop is back again, and guys hanging out talking. And probably talking about things like this, how do we keep the bass drum from sliding? How do we do this? And, and then the drum shop owner's like, oh, over there, Kbrakes, and that's great. That's sometimes even better than being on Guitar Center and stuff like that, because you can get lost in the masses.
To like touch something and kind of know what you're getting into. So, I mean, there's been several times where I bought things online and been like, this is different than what I thought it was, or this feels different, or oh, this is really heavy, or this is really light.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the idea of being in those stores, and there is definitely resurgence. I mean, we're seeing it a lot, and we have a lot of stores that carry our stuff, and a lot of them are small stores that, you know, we've met at NAMM or you know, through friends of friends that, you know, carry their stuff and they say, hey, you guys got to carry Kbrakes stuff, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we've definitely seen the resurgence of stores, and they're not going away. You know, there's another camp where people think that online is going to kind of take over everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that potentially be, you know, the end for big box and retailers. But I think there's still enough people in the world that want to split the difference and do both.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know, I'm one of those guys, to be honest. I'm the guy that, you know, I'll go to my music store for certain things, but you know, when it came to like, I don't know, buying this computer, you know, I'll go to Amazon, you know, I don't, Apple's not hurting, you know, for business,
Right.
you know, but if I can go support my local music store by, you know, buying drum heads or whatever from them, you know, it's great. You know, you can balance both for sure.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, when I was touring a lot, you know, I would always stop at every little town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, this place has got that cool store that's got this, and they carry all the GMS stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to their store and they carry all like the weird Mapex stuff, or like even, you know, the PV like radial drums or something like that. Just like just different, you know. And you want to go. It's kind of like going to the zoo or something. You want to go and see and touch the different stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
And you know, have you got a lot of more drummers, you know, famous drummers starting to use your stuff? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, we've, you know, right now, you know, I got a call the other day or an email from, which is pretty funny to me. You know, interesting. I was kind of blown away by is, you know, Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction.
Oh, nice.
Just, you know, he hits up like, hey, I saw your review of Modern Drummer, and which is funny because I hadn't even seen the review yet, but apparently it had come out, and I just didn't get on my radar, and it only come out a couple days earlier, but. You know, he hit me up. He was like, "Hey, man, these are awesome! Like, no more sandbags, pretty cool." And you know, like we got him playing stuff. Garrett Goodwin's playing stuff. He drums for Carrie Underwood. We got Alicia Warrington playing stuff. She's out drumming for Kate Nash and a bunch of. She does a bunch of other crazy projects. Yeah, so it's been really cool, man. We've had a lot of people that are, you know, bigger names and in the. We've got a lot of people in country, a lot of people in rock, some hip hop guys, some people playing, you know, kind of weird shoegazer stuff. We got a handful of jazz guys that are playing. So it's been really cool, man. It's been really growing. So for, you know, for every you know, cool guy like every like touring musician that hits us up, you know, it's always a cool thing for us to be like, oh yeah, like. And sometimes you want to say, hey, who's this person? Like, they're not on your radar or whatever. And you look up and you find a drum for like Elvis or something, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
Just random stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Have you seen an uptick in like international, you know, not famous international drummers, but like an international audience being, you know, exposed to Kbrakes, you know, because with, you know, the internet, it's pretty much limitless unless you live in like North Korea or China. You know, there's like the only two countries that really keep the internet out. But, you know, it's weird. I have a huge following in Brazil, you know, and it's like, where did this come from? You know, it's
Right.
trippy. You know, have you seen that as well? Do you get orders from other countries starting to come in?
We do, and we've. It's funny. As soon as we launched our product, the very first product when we launched Kbrakes, we had a crazy slew of orders from Scandinavian countries.
Oh wow!
Apparently, just the black metal just needed to be held down, right? So it's
yeah.
And all I imagine is like, you know, dudes in corpse paint, like other computers, like, you know, trying to order, you know, Kbrakes, and which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing, but definitely, we get a lot of stuff from Brazil, a lot of stuff from South America, definitely all over Europe, the UK. We're starting to get now a new bunch of stores from Asian countries.
Mhm.
So
Indonesia.
we always do a lot of
Yeah.
Indonesia. We've always done Australia, Japan, New Zealand, all those countries. But it's cool when we start getting countries that we are unfamiliar with.
You're
There's
like, all right, hang on. I gotta Google this. Where is Bahrain? Oh, there it
Right.
is. Yeah.
Like they have drums in Burma. That's a thing. Like
Yeah.
you just don't know, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, we've definitely seen a big uptick in those. And like I said, now that we have the new products, like it's now we have a whole new audience. So people that maybe their drums never slid around before on carpet, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally normal and it happens. But now that they're like, oh, I have this option to play without a rug. This is the difference. So so Kbrakes grips is not really about your drummer that chooses to not play on carpet.
Mm-hmm.
It's the drummer that right.
Mm-hmm.
So up until now, it's always been something you've had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So to now to have the option to not play on carpet, there's always a drummer that shows up at the gig and there's no carpet, right? That's
Yeah.
happens.
Oh yeah. That's like, oh, son of a bitch. Where is it? You're
Right,
like,
right.
You're like walking to the front. You're like, hey, these rugs, are you guys using them? I know they're like to wipe people's feet on, but I really need it, And they're like, yeah, sure, you can take it, Yeah.
Yep. So
everyone's had that.
Yep, but it's about having the choice. So now we've kind of given that choice out there and solved that problem. We definitely have a new audience of people that want to play without a drum rug. A lot of people that we've found at NAMM is a lot of people that are like, yeah, came in from New York or came from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
People that do busking, people that take the trains to gigs and carry their equipment with them.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are carrying full drum kits that are compact, but that's one less thing they have to worry about is a rug. And they have something they're good to go. It's easy.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's I've never really thought about that because I don't tour. I play. I was playing in my kids' playroom, carpeted, where I've got my drum set up now, carpeted. So it's one of those things I've never really had to worry about. But if you're that touring drummer, or you're that drummer that, like you said, plays in New York City or Chicago, and you're taking the train, you can't lug around a rug at the same time. That's too much of a burden. So
yeah, it's just one more thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's rugs are not. It's not like it's the easiest thing just to be like, oh, I have this rug.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's small and compact. It's like usually some sort of big thing. So
and you also run the risk of like, then I bring my throne, or you're like, oh, forgot the snare stand. Got the rug, but I forgot the snare stand. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's just one less thing you have to check off the list. So
that actually happened the other day. I went to the studio to record an EP, and I was all pumped because I hadn't played these drums on a recording in a while, and I set all my stuff up and I'm looking around and I had no snare stand. And I just, I probably have, here in the drum room, probably 5 or 6 snares, and some of them are on snare stands, some of them are not. And apparently I was doing some fancy snare somethings and I just decided to leave them on the snare stand and showed up with a snare and no stands. So it still happens, right?
Yeah. And I've seen people like flip over their throne and put the snare on it and then sit in a chair,
Yeah, it's a thing, man. It's a new untapped market, right? It's thrown snare stands.
Yeah, totally. It's like a multifunction. We should write that down real quick.
There you go. There you go.
That kind of segs into a question I wanted to ask you. It's something I've been asking the people that have been on. And since you're behind Kbrakes, you've probably had some horrific stories of gigs going horribly wrong, So what's that one gig you were like, man, I'm over this gig. We got to get the hell out of here.
I've had a handful of them, in my drumming career. There's a couple short ones I'll share.
Okay.
So, one time, this one's just really more of a statement. I played a chili cook-off in Topeka, Kansas with Night Ranger.
Night Ranger. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had the full Bon Jovi stage, full Bon Jovi set up, like the lights and the merch guy was set up, and there was probably about 15 people there. And we just had an EP out, this one band I was playing, and so we played like 7 songs real quick. But right before we played, there was a girl up on the mic announcing like who was winning the chili cook-off. So, it basically went from the microphone being, yep, here's your microphone, singer guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But just before that, it was like, Jim Smith, and then he handed the mic to the singer. It's like, okay, there you go. That was like his intro. So pretty funny.
The winner of the mild chili is Joni.
Yeah. And there was like 6 or 7 people that were clapping and happy and excited for that person that slaved over the chili, and I'm sure it was great.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to taste most of them, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Have a little room and the crackers and all that stuff, so you could do the chili cook-off. So, yeah, that one's pretty good. But I think probably I would say I've had a lot of weird ones. I mean, but probably one of the weirdest ones that I've ever had, where I was doing the singer-songwriter tour with my old roommate from Seattle. We were traveling in a Jetta. I had this little. Are you familiar with the Safari? What's it called? It's the Sonar Safari kit.
Okay, yeah.
Seen these? So there you go. So I had a little Sonar Safari kit, just a kick drum, a little like PDP 10-inch snare on a stand, single pedal, a small splash cymbal, and some hi-hats, and that's pretty much it. We were just doing like just singer-songwriter, acoustic guitar, playing whatever. Anyway, we played this show at one of his house in Boise, Idaho, and it was a bunch of women that were sitting, and we're all sitting in like these chairs. And we got there, and she had this kind of like 10 by 10 tent set up for us to play under, which was great. Nice to have shade. I set up my drums and got it ready. I'm playing these little wood wax, those hot rods, and playing those guys, and we get ready. I'm kind of like checking stuff, and he's like playing volume. I'm like, yep, we're good. Yep. There's all these people are sitting in this kind of like half circle, kind of watching us. And he, he turns around and asks me, he's like, you ready? I'm like, yep, let's do it, man. He's like, all right, we're going to get going. He's like, it's the first song is called blah, blah, blah. And as soon as he said that, I counted off and we started playing the song. All of these women, which I didn't realize, all reached down into these little bags next to them and all pulled out these knitting needle and yarn, and they were all rocking in their thing in their chairs and like looking and kind of pointing and like, oh yeah, like this is great, yeah, and they're knitting.
Oh, dude,
and all of them, and I'm playing, and I'm like, and I mean, I've traveled the world, man, playing the drums in metal and hardcore bands, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. But this literally was like one of the weirdest things.
Yeah, that sounds like something straight out of like the Handmaid's Tale or something. Like we're gonna be killed.
you can't make this up. Like
no, there's no way.
They're literally knitting and needling, and they're all in a circle, and they all are rocking chairs, and they're just like got their stuff going, and they're just I to this day, I'm still baffled by what happened.
Were they nice? Like after you played, did they come up and be like, "Oh, we enjoyed your set," or were they just like they would, knit for a minute and then they would go do something else, then come back? Was it just no? Nope.
They sat there and they knitted the entire time. Was it knitted? Yes, knitted. They knitted the entire time.
Yeah.
And then when we were done, they were just like, oh, like that was really great. And they would clap in between songs and stuff and pick up their needles and go back to knitting and say, it was very strange. It was strange is the nicest way to put it, I guess.
And your story reminded me, your first story reminded me, I was in a band and we played a horse and donkey show in South Carolina. And I had promised to play this gig for a while. And I had actually had a date for homecoming, and I forgot about the gig, and like the guy I was playing with was also my history teacher, so he was like, hey, you ready to play this weekend? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's homecoming. I'm going with my girlfriend. And he's like, no, you're playing in the gig. I'm like, no, I'm going to homecoming. My mom. Oh, the internet. I don't know what.
I love the internet.
Yeah, you gotta love the internet. It's
the last thing I heard was you said I think you're saying my mom, and you froze.
Yeah. No, okay, so yeah, my mom called my history teacher up and said, look, I'm making Daniel go play the gig with you guys. So I had to cancel my homecoming plans with my girlfriend to go play this show in South Carolina. We get there, there's nobody there. Nobody. There's a bunch of people, horses, we got a stage, everything, nobody's showing up. And so we do our first set, we get off, and the people are like, oh thank you. We're going to announce the goat giveaway. So all of a sudden, like 1,000 people show up for the goat. You know, they're like, all right, Jim Smith, you win the goat. You know, everyone's like, yay, blah, blah, blah. We start playing, they're gone. I'm like, I had to cancel my homecoming date for this shit? You know, I was pissed. But, you know, It's one of those, you know, you're like, thanks, Mom. But, you know, it is what it is.
I get it, man. I get it. But what do we learn? What do we learn from that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either, I guess. I thought I had something and it just went away.
I racked my brain for weeks trying to think of, like, what was the purpose of this other than just making me extremely pissed off. And, you know, and then my teacher saying, oh, I'm so sorry we made you go to that thing. I'm like, I told you it was going to suck, you know, but they didn't, you know, he didn't care. But yeah.
Sometimes that's a game, man, you know?
It's the game. That's the, you know, you could, you know, sometimes you think, oh, this gig's going to suck. And you get there, like, dude, there's a lot of people here. This is awesome, you know, and, you know, so it just goes to show you got to be, I guess persistent would be the word, you know, that's a good thing to take away from it. Just be persistent and, you know, don't go into things with preconceptions of, oh, this gig's going to be awesome. This gig's going to be bad. You know, it could go either way.
It can always go either way, man. Sometimes, honestly, I've definitely played shows that were the smallest, most non-packed shows I've ever played, and they've sometimes been the most fun.
Yeah, totally. I've had the same thing, you know, and the big gig, oh, this is going to be awesome. You know, it was terrible. I don't know if my animation is like my arms, you know, I'm Italian, so we talk with our hands. I'm like, does that slow down the internet? What's going on?
I don't know.
Do what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, all right, I'm going to have to sit still and make the internet not freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess to, you know, wrap up, you know, what's, you know, the podcast and everything. So what's the future hold for you guys moving forward? You know, you've got the hi-hat locked down. You've got the slides that can go on the Kbrakes now. You know, are there other things you guys are kind of working on, or is it kind of, you know, we're not telling anybody right now kind of thing?
Well, I mean, we've just launched these in the last month.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, as many people as we can. There's always products in the pipe that I'm working on and different things.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd have to, you know, fly down south and, you know, I don't think we could do that.
Yeah, totally.
No.
And
no, we got something else, but you know, it's always, we're always looking to do other things, and, you know, I'm looking to come up with other ideas and fun things, and, you know, we're thus far we've done fairly well with what we've had, and, you know, we're just excited to have the opportunity to do things like this and get to talk to people and, you know, and talk to you again for the second time, and, you know, just be a part of the drumming community, man. That's all we really want to do. So
yeah, and it's I always say it's a great time to be part of, you know, this online drum community and having conversations and stuff like that. It's you know, it's super rad.
Yeah, I like it, man. Like I said before, I think I said last time, man, there's a lot of cool companies out there. You know, if you are a fan of Kbrakes or like what Kbrakes does, that's awesome. We appreciate it. But But I think that the time is right for giving all these other companies a chance. So like there's tons of cool companies out there building drums. There's tons of cool companies coming up with accessories and solving other problems and giving you other alternatives to things that you've never seen before. So
yeah,
the time for innovation and invention is happening right now. So for someone to be like, oh, I don't play those things, or I don't like those, or I don't like that, I don't need that. Just check it out. I mean, because you never know, man. I mean, the first time, I'm sure you can attest this, that you put a big fat snare drum on your drum and start hitting it, you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, where's this been my whole life? Yeah,
it just, it's just big, and it sounds like the birthday cake and baseball bat kind of slap, and it's just awesome. So it's just something different, and had they not come up with that, and they wouldn't be a thing. So they're doing really well, and it's because of people who are checking them out, and that's what we want, people to check out what other people are doing. So
yeah, when you also have drum companies starting to add Kbrakes to their kits they're selling as well, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's great for us, obviously. More so for them. I mean, one of the things that I really push is that, if you spend, $500, $600, $2,000 on a drum kit, you get it home and start playing it and it starts sliding around on you. I mean, it just happens, right? So, so with Kbrakes, I mean, you kind of eliminate that kit, or those new drums, even if they're used drums, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but I think it's cool, and we got a lot of cool companies doing that with us, and which is doesn't really increase the price of the kit at all. So
yeah.
Pretty,
cool. Well, are you gonna be at Winter Dam next year, or are you gonna take a break?
No, I mean, I think we'll be there in some capacity. I mean, for us in Michigan, we like to see the ocean and the sun from time to time.
Especially in January.
So we're going to try to, it's cold here, man. We had, 100 inches of snow last year or something. So we like to try to come out and let our faces be uncovered in January. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Get the feeling back in.
We'll get up there. We'll be there in some capacity.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of sun, and get rid of the frostbite. So
yeah. And I think I got some tickets lined up for me to go. I mean, airplane tickets. Still got to find the hotel, but I'm excited. I was gonna try to go to the Nashville one, and someone had to quit work. Ugh, that's the worst. Screws up your plans.
Yeah.
But
I get it, man. I get it. Hey, I was gonna ask you this. I don't know, and we're just gonna throw this on the spot right now, but we're gonna throw it out there. We'll figure out who this person is, but we're gonna randomly just pick through comments of any of the podcasts, and we're gonna randomly pick one person, and they're gonna get a set of Kbrakes and a set of grips and a set of high stops.
Nice, that's cool.
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that just in the comments. We'll figure it out whoever's gonna comment or post or share or whatever it is. We'll just throw something out there, and we'll make sure we throw that some random person some stuff, and just for being a fan of the podcast and a fan of what we're doing. So
nice. I appreciate that. Yeah. I was debating the other day. I'm like, I need to give some away. Like, I need to give mine away, give it to somebody else, and spread the love. I'm like, yeah, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I love these things.
Yep.
It's hard.
No, I get it.
It's hard.
I get it.
It's hard to part with something you've gotten so accustomed to. I actually took them off just for shiggles to see if what would happen. And I'm like, oh wow, this was a problem. And to put them back on, I'm like, this is my comfort. I need this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So two things I want to point out. One, the fact that you just said shiggles on a podcast is pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
Because that one, you just threw it in there and it slipped by as if we weren't going to hear it. But now everyone's going to hear it. They're going to know that, yes, Daniel said shiggles, right? So that just happened. And two,
that did happen.
The funny thing about it is a lot of people have told us this about Kbrakes, that we have people that are playing our stuff that say, my drums don't slide, and they haven't slid, and I never have problems sliding. However, the base of the actual Kbrake and the bottom and the foundation that you get to play on is so much bigger than that little piece of of pop metal that basically digs into the carpet and drives all your sound into the ground. So it gives your drum like a little more volume. It gives it a little more full sound. Actually, like hoists the spur up off of the ground, so it really doesn't even touch the ground, which means none of your sounds get transferred in the ground, which is
totally
full bass sitting there. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
I never thought about that. Yeah, because there's a lot of shock going through the drum, and if it's going into the floor versus through the drum and in through a microphone or whatever, you're dampening that sound tremendously.
Well, if you stand in front of me a kick drum, I mean, all the sound off of the kick drum and off the spurs directly into the floor.
Yeah.
So, which means essentially you're losing a lot of that sound and losing a lot of that feel that your drum would normally put off. But with Kbrakes, it's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see this or not. But the inside of this guy is actually conical shaped, similar to what your spur is. So when it's sitting inside of it, it's actually sitting inside of like a little holder. So it's actually just kind of sitting in there. So it's not even touching anything. The bottom doesn't touch anything, which means that where that point is where all your sound transfers out of, essentially. It essentially just gives it a nice full volume of the drum and actually raises it up. And a lot of people have told us, they're like, man, my drum sounds so much better and it feels really solid. And I hit it and it feels like I'm hitting like it's against the wall. Like it's just like, doof, 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 So, and that's what we love about it. I mean, it's really, these points right here literally dig in and give you this nice bass. And this bass literally like sits on the ground and your spur sits in here and literally it just holds it really tight and really snug, but no issues, man. It's phenomenal.
How many times have you cut yourself on those little spurs? I know, I was like moving my bass drum and like it just caught my leg. I'm like, ah! Yep.
Not too much. I mean, I'm actually pretty immune to it. I mean, I really use mine a lot as a beard comb.
There you go. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it kind of doubles as a beard comb and, a back scratcher.
Oh, yeah.
Really, yeah. So it's nice. It's a good exfoliator, so you really want that multi-purpose tool in your toolbox.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah, because I was moving my drums and my son was like, what'd you do to your leg? I'm like, I think I scraped it on the bass drum Kbrake. And he's like, oh, looks like it hurts. I'm like, it does.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty big on multifunction. I mean, we do have the Kbrake, the grips, and these work really well when you get cat hair on your clothes. You can just kind of like, get all your cat hair off there. And
since drummers always wear black, there's the hair it's out of control.
And drummers love cats, I think. So
I have a cat. He's around here somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I have a dog, but he doesn't shed, but he would like to because he thinks he's a cat sometimes.
Oh yeah, just crawls up in your lap and yeah.
Yeah, he's small and awesome, but annoying.
Yeah. What's your dog's name?
His name is Deke.
Deke,
but we call him several names. We call him Big Banan. We call him Big Buddy. We call him Banana Bread. We call him Banana Bread Sandwiches. He's got several names.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My we have a cat Cookie. My kids call him 18 different things.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's
it's
pets.
It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
It's how it goes. Yeah, it's how it goes, man. I love it.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you being back on. This was fun.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to be here, man. I'm super stoked to always get to hear from you, and I always see stuff you're posting, and I think it's awesome. I love that you're drumming and making videos, and
my craptastic videos that I do. I'm like, I need to practice more.
No, you know what it's about, man? It's about doing something. So everyone, it's really easy to sit home and do nothing, right? It's much more difficult to do something and put it out there. I mean, that's, as a designer, man, we're creative people, and we like to just do stuff and put it out there. And it's tough sometimes because you get judged, and everyone's real easy to sit back on their couch and judge you and
totally
watch TV. But I think what you're doing is awesome, man. So keep it up.
I appreciate, and I love what you're doing. I think like the whole solving a problem that most people didn't realize they had. Whereas the bass drum slides. What are we gonna do? I guess nothing. That's, or just put a center block in front of it. And looks tacky. But the fact that you had the sight of like the engineering mind and the creative mind working together, is such a cool thing. I wish I could do that.
Yeah. You can do it, man. It just takes a little bit of problem solving and, finding a problem and chasing the opportunity, man. That's it.
Yeah. It's when it comes to mechanical stuff, that ship has sailed a long time ago. I don't know what happened. My dad is he was a mechanic, built houses, all that stuff, couldn't play music to save his life. He tried to show me this stuff to like he would get so frustrated. Like, I don't get why you don't get this. I'm like, I don't know. It's just going over my head,
Yep.
But, you got to you got to find your strengths. So mine was playing drums and talking. Hope to see you at NAMM in January. I think
January 2018. Yes, sir.
I know just saying 18 just makes me feel so old, but it just feels like, wow, time goes really fast.
Yeah. It does.
It does.
Yeah. We'll be there in some capacity. I don't know if we'll have a booth or not this year. It's always tough to get out there and get all that stuff together. And, we're just a small company, man. So
And I think it'd be fun to like get all these people together, like we see on, Instagram and all that stuff, and just like hang out, and just like, just chill. I don't know. I think me and Josh from Drummers Corner were like, dude, it'd be just cool just to hang out with all these people, and just yeah.
Did you see him at NAMM last year?
I didn't go last year. When I think I recorded a podcast with them last year, and we were just talking how it's so cool it'd be just to hang out with all these people that we see, and actually meet them in person would be so mind blowing.
Yep. He did come out to NAMM last year, and we hung out for a few hours and walked around, and it was my first time meeting him. We talked a bunch, and we got to hang out and stuff, and now we like text and stuff, and he's just a good dude, man.
He's a good dude, and now he's doing his own podcast, and you should be on it. That'd be a cool podcast, right there.
Yeah, I will if he ever asks me.
I'll bug him. Come on, Joe. I'm just kidding. No, but
I talk probably every other day, and we'll get there. We're busy dudes. So
it'll probably be like me. It's like there's so many people that I'm like, I need to have on the podcast, and I totally just like forget about. And then he'll be like, one day he'll be like, dude, why don't I ask you? I'm like, I don't know. It's like, sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, cool,
We've done a handful of them. They're always fun to do, man. So I'm thankful for every opportunity I get to be a part of it. So
cool, man. Well, I appreciate it. So everybody, go follow Kbrakes. Go check them out. Like I said, I highly recommend them. And if you got problems with a hi-hat now or a cymbal stand, you've got another option. So it's cool. Well, cool, man.
Yep.
Well, I'll talk to you hopefully at NAMM. That'd be cool.
Cool, man. Keep in touch, and I'll see you soon.
Yep. All right. Well,
All right, brother.
I'm gonna hit stop real quick.